universities. And here's something that I don't know who is in President Trump's ear. And I know that we've never had President Trump on the show. And I know that, I know, by the way, some of the grievances from people like Tucker Carlson or people like Candace Owens are correct. There's a lot of gatekeeping that goes on. These are bad ideas. So 600,000 Chinese students here. Can anyone tell me how that is good for America? Because if we're talking about work visas, I do understand there's a scenario where it's appropriate. For example, someone like an Elon Musk. If there's someone who is hyperly skilled, who is going to be a player on the world stage, well, you want them playing for Team United States. I understand that. Or if certainly in film, this happens a lot. If you need Tom Hardy, you need Pierce Brosnan, you need to bring him in. Especially if there's a series here. I get that. But students, you are now training up the younger generation of a foreign adversary so that they will be competitive with you in the workplace. It doesn't make sense at this stage in the development of a human being. We shouldn't be training and making our enemies stronger than they would be without this policy. And here is President Trump giving this interview with Laura Ingraham. And everything he says, I just don't think he's aware that he's communicating it in the opposite way that people are hearing it.
You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have. China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Great!
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the historically,
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically black colleges and universities would all be out of business.
Why?
You would have a system of colleges and universities.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
Screw the French, too.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where they put 25% taxes on American products. Half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
You want to bet? We want to see our country thrive, but you still have failed to make the case as to why we would thrive, why we would be better off with more communist students coming over here.
Well, because the historically black colleges and universities would fail if they didn't have Chinese students.
2% of these colleges?
Or less.
The black colleges need the Chinese students.
Yeah. Fine, I guess. Can anyone make the case? Because he didn't make it. Just there. And most upset, of course, is Captain Morgan here. Don't even get us started on Notre Dame.
The Fighting Irish.
They can pronounce the R's.
We fight wrong time. We don't win football in decade.
Pass it to my tight end.
That's right. Yeah, put it in tight end.
Yeah, please keep making fun of me for getting a free education.
Yeah, you a fullback asshole. So let me just be really clear with you. Chinese students not only don't deserve this and we don't benefit from it, they're a national security threat. So let me give you a few examples here. Check the references, Laney. Chicago, Chinese electrical engineering student there was convicted for spying for the CCP at UCLA. There was a math student who transferred sensitive tech to the PLA. And then, of course, you have Swalwell's favorite, Fang Fang, the one he was not banging, just to be clear, not having sex with a Chinese spy, Eric Swalwell. There's no record of it. There's no proof of it. Eric Swalwell has not slept with Chinese spies and still seems to hold office. I just want to be very, very clear. I think we're covered by my half-Asian lawyer. Remember, Fang Fang started her spying career while enrolled at Cal State East Bay. So, like, there's a long-standing history of the Chinese taking advantage of our system and sending spies over here. Not to mention this. Let me ask you this. Do you think that having more Chinese students coming here, do you think that that lowers tuition costs? Or do you think it inflates tuition costs? Do you think that it provides more opportunities for American students to study? Or do you think they take those spots? This policy is basically, hey, we're going to be educating our primary geopolitical rival, basically people from a communist nation, so that we'll have to compete with them in the tech and workspace later on. And the reason for it is...
Go. Why would we take the one country that can beat us in this race and educate their kids so that they have a better chance? Why would we do that? Lane made a great point. He's like, how many students do you think we would have been comfortable letting in during the Cold War from Russia?
Right.
How many?
Right.
Probably not a lot. What the hell are we doing? And these are new every single year. This is not a total number. I think this is 300,000 over 2 years of new students.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
because
like
it's
there's
more
just
than
600,000.
it's more than what's like currently enrolled, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't think that the premise that half of America's colleges and universities would go out of business when they're spending tons of money on rejection letters every year.
Exactly.
But I didn't get any.
I also, by the way, I also don't care. I guess I would only support it if this was all just a ploy and we were educating the Chinese students wrong.
Maybe that's a
Like,
good,
hey, welcome
yes.
to
There
this
you
new
go.
engineering class. I present your professor, Terrence Howard.
Okay, fine. Maybe if there is a little subterfuge going on. I don't know.
He's more like a quantum physics theory guy.
2 times 2 is 5. I learn America. 2 times 2 is 5. Crying black man, say. So not great
crying?
Trump. Let's rate that one. That's not so great Donald Trump.
Not less good.
Yeah, less good Trump. But here's one that's good. Here's one that is good. A new order says that visas can be denied for certain health conditions. By the way, any way you can deny visas, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
The health conditions can include obesity, diabetes, mental health. The feminist trifecta. My verdict here is good Trump. That's good Trump. That one's pretty base. Good for him.
I don't have a good
We don't have a good Trump? Come on.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
That works.
Thank you very much.
That works. That's a good thing. Hey, why should we be bringing in anyone who's fat, diabetic, and mentally unwell?
unstable?
Well,
Why
I don't know
would we
about
do
the fat thing, but definitely the mentally unstable.
Well, again, the
Fat thing seems personal.
they're gross.
Ew.
No, but we'll get to Obamacare. They're a burden on the healthcare system. So you're bringing in people who will be taking advantage
See,
of our
I
social
think
services.
this from the mind state of like, oh, we're not giving health care to people who don't live here, right?
Right,
Or
yeah,
from
exactly.
here, we're not giving that. Oh,
You're being logical.
that's where I mess up.
It's this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it
30
means
to
is
50,
you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have
No,
a 50.
didn't.
All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit.
Yeah, so the current max that, at least that I'm aware of, 30-year mortgages. And I'll also say this is something where it shows how Donald Trump sometimes has a blind spot. I think he was under the impression that this was going to be a largely friendly interview. And so he didn't prepare the same way that he would when he's ready to deal with opposition. Just, it could be, well, you could go from 40 to 50. Well, it's 30. 20-year difference, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I understand how this seems nice, and this is the problem with populism if it's not tied to some kind of, deeply rooted principle. Now, it doesn't mean that you just cling to your principles and say, hey, like libertarians, let's legalize all drugs and have open borders and war shouldn't exist. Okay, cool. We also have to have a system of government, and we have to have a form of governance that is appropriate, that's in line with the Constitution, also serves the interests of the American people above all else, above any other people, to be clear. But this kind of ties into a $2,000 check, just pandering for votes. So people go, well, that's great. It'll make it more affordable. First off, not really. And I'll offer a solution, by the way, that may help a little bit more. So here's how it won't really help. You just have a slightly lower monthly payment, right? You'd build equity a whole lot slower, and you'd end up paying a whole lot more over time. One could argue that this is really sort of a kickback to the big banks because they would love for you to pay these rates. They would love for you to continue to be enslaved into debt. So let me give you an example, like a $400,000 home with, let's say, 10% down at 6.25% financing. Just giving you a general, these numbers you can find out there. So a 30-year mortgage, your monthly payment would be about $2,200. So the total cost of your home with interest would be about $798,000, call it $800,000. A 50-year mortgage, you'd be paying about $250 less per month, about $1,960. But the total cost of the home with that interest would be $1.18 million, $380,000 more.
This is according to a new Gallup poll. 20% of people say they want to live somewhere else. That's 1 in 5. And the shift is mainly driven by young women, ages 15 to 44. 40% of them say that they want to go.
I hate bitches. I just hate these bitches, man.
Here's Ben Shapiro telling you that if you ever want to retire, stop working to pay off your 50 freaking year mortgage. You own the house, really, for 50 years. Okay, no, I'm renting it. I'll be 90 by the time I pay it off, which of course I won't because I got all kinds of other loans too. So if you complain about that, if you had these dreams of like working really hard and retiring, how dare you? How dare you? Here's Ben Shapiro.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it's crazy talk. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Now, the conventional response to this, and I've heard people say it, is, well, Ben Shapiro can say that because he's a podcaster. He's not climbing ladders for a living. And if you climb ladders for a living, you know, or do any kind of physical labor, even light physical labor, your body breaks down. It's just a fact. And if you're around people who've done it, you know, by the time they get to 50, they're limping and they're in pain. That's why they're, you know, you go to these little towns around the country and most businesses are gone. There are no furniture stores or no toy stores. Like, they're all gone. They're all at Walmart. They're a husk. But what you do find next to the, you know, the drug rehab places are chiropractors, or a lot of chiropractors throughout the country. It's because poorer people, working class people, blue collar people are aching. They have trouble walking. Their backs hurt. So retirement for a man who climbs ladders is a little bit different from a man who hosts a podcast.
We live in a high, or we used to, I hope we can get it back. America is a very traditionally a high trust society. Mm-hmm. And when you're letting, oh, look at the scores this person got on these tests. Right. Yeah, well, the odds are they're probably cheating.
Right.
It's funny that Besant said that because, or Besant, sorry for mispronouncing his name. I like him. Because there it is. Another example of Trump goes out and says something stupid about bringing in foreign workers and everybody around him has to rush out and, well, what he meant was.
Right.
But you're right. Will they go back? And you also reminded me, one among the many ways H-1B workers harm Americans, it is, of course, taking American jobs. All these American kids are told, major in a STEM field, major in computer science, major in mathematics. Oh, you'll be set for life. That's so great. And then, oh, sorry, your job went to an Indian, a low-priced Indian. But right. Also, the Indians and the Chinese and the H-1B workers come in, and then they bring their elderly parents so they right. can instantly go on Social Security. They can bring the whole village in, mm-hmm. whom you'll be paying for, America.
Yeah, I did see the Indian thing. It's pretty annoying, but I don't want to get them mad at me. Okay, I love it. Hey, I love India. Look, I'm putting a lot on the line criticizing the Jews. That's good enough for me. I'll criticize the Jews. I'll criticize blacks. I'll criticize low-class whites. You know, I think I'm suffering enough. I think I've taken enough risks. I'll let other people criticize the Indians. India's great. We love India. It's fine. I think I've lost enough. I criticize the Jews. I lose my bank account. If I criticize the Indians, I lose my Twitter account. I'd like to keep my Twitter account. I think I'm going hard enough. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to the Muslims. You want to call me out? Sit down and shut the fuck up, bitch. That's what a man has to say. And make me a sandwich and make it good. Turkey and provolone. Can you handle that?